Hello all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. As you all know, I seem to just be stirring up controversy, whether it's because I tell the truth about the things that I test or not, but this is just another update on the Master, some stuff I've gone over via posts recently, and with Begode themselves on this particular wheel, the Master Molicel P42A. I haven't been getting the best range, as everybody knows. I mean, 26 miles has been the last two range tests, and one was multiple different cities and towns. It was a mixture of some off-roading stuff and some hills, and it was 26.12 miles. And my last range test I did the other day, I realized the tire pressure was actually low, and it was around like 22 psi. And I upped it to about 42.5 psi and went, just straight out. I was like, I'm doing this all the way through, so that way, I could screenshot beginning, screenshot end, and say, this is what it is. And I got 26.7 miles. So it's at 20 miles an hour average speed, which is not good. If the 50Es performance-wise are nearly identical or enough power for somebody like Chance or other hardcore riders, then is the P42 Molicel version really worth it when you're getting 40% less range? At that higher pressure on the CST 186, I understand now why people have said it is a very unstable tire, because at higher pressures, it is very unstable and hard to control. It does like to try to get stuck on the knobs next to the center one, but at a 28 to 34 psi, that's not nearly the case. So I don't see the point of increasing it to 40 psi or above unless you are doing stairs, curb stuff, big off-roading, and you're afraid of denting or damaging that rim, which right now, with the way these wheels sit, who knows what it would take to get a replacement one. I've always rode my wheels at 28 to 32. The Hero I have at 38, it just seems to be comfortable on that wheel. I don't know if it's the weight of it balanced wise, why it doesn't feel as unstable as the Master did at 42-ish, but 38 seems to be a good PSI for somebody my weight at the 225, of having that good ground of you've got good traction, you're getting, what you should get is good range, and you're not, low on pressure and potentially risking your rim. It's unfortunate that I am not seeing more feedback from other P42 riders getting, what their range is, or more or less range. I've had Merlin Fish, I think, is the only one so far, and he's getting 30 plus. I haven't seen any screenshots or anything. Well, I'll have to take his word for it in the meantime, but it is very possible. My cell voltages I posted the other day at full charge were all within spec, and if I had a bad pack or bad cells in a pack, it would usually reflect at full charge. I will test it again when it's depleted and see if there's a discrepancy between any pack. I checked the connections as well. All of them were seated fully. There's no loose connections, so it's not like the wheel's performing anything strange, but it has been reported on the 50Es that once you hit 50% battery, they start to decline pretty fast. Mine at 50% was going. At 30% at 20 miles an hour, you get like 3 to 4 miles of range if you're lucky. I mean, from 33 to 1%, I think I traveled 3.5 miles, give or take. And that's, batteries aren't linear, and they're supposed to be high drain cells, but in a moderately draining condition, that seems a little absurd to me. eWheels has it posted that with the Molicels, if you're high draining them, that they are more efficient and perform better than if you're kind of puttering around like I do, and you can get a 15% decrease in efficiency, and we could take that into consideration with the Molicels because of the way that the packs are designed, or the cells, or the chemistry. But when 50E users are having plenty of power and getting 40-45 miles of range with leftover battery, that means I'm losing 40%. If I'm getting 26, not even 27 cruising around. So it's 15's one thing, 40%'s a whole nother thing. Right now, as it sits, I would never recommend a P42 master to somebody, because at first Begode was like, oh, what was your speed? And I was like, this is it, here's a screenshot. And then they were like, well, what was the range? And I was like, 26 miles. And they kept thinking that was my speed, and I was like, no, that is all I got from first test, was 100% to 4%. And I did that range test the other day where I just hopped on and wrote it straight through, screenshot to screenshot of beginning and end, 1%, and it was 26.7 miles, and I provided that to them, and they're like, oh no, you're going faster than that. And I'm like, no, I'm not a speed rider. 20-25 is the speed I cruise by myself on trails, and I'm respectful of other people, bicycles, people, crossings, etc. So 20 miles per hour was average. There was points that I probably hit 25. There's points I was probably going 4 or 5 miles an hour minding a dog on a leash. But regardless, they refused to believe me, and then they, after trying to provide proof, said I got to contact my colleague and our engineers. And then we kind of went back and forth, and it turned into, oh, that's normal, other people are reporting that same range. So as it sits right now, Begode isn't owning up to anything. The range on the P42 is acknowledged by Begode of a rough 26 miles, which is horrible to say for a wheel that costs the amount it costs. My S22 production model has shipped. I will obviously be doing extensive testing on that for what I do. Not extreme testing, but my type of testing and honest reviews. I did get a couple of tires I ordered for the Master to see if any of them will affect the range. PSI didn't seem to. I know some people are running street tires on their Master, and it may increase, but a lot of those users are still the 50E users, so it's really hard without anybody else with a P42 giving feedback to really know if my wheel is defective, or if it's a firmware issue with the P42s, or anything of the above. So voltage wise, it's good. Performance wise, it's normal. Range wise, it blows. It sucks. It's bad. 26 miles is, you could do better on an S18 with suspension, so what's the point if you do stuff like I do? Nothing extreme. But the Shinko 244 showed up yesterday. I haven't seen one in person until yesterday, and man, the knobs on that thing are beast. They are probably deeper than the CST and the TR1. The way that they're spaced also, I could see mud and rocks getting stuck easier, but the gapping looks like it would handle off-road a lot better, and the knobs design and placement is also a smooth transition. If you look at them, it's, they're not all in vertical lines upright with you. They're kind of staggered, which to me makes it seem like there might be more surface contact with the road, but it might have less resistance because the way the knobs are designed on the CST. I might throw it on there if I don't sell the wheel, give it a test and see what happens, but it looks like a nice tire. I'm willing to try it. If I keep the Master, I'm definitely going to do range and reviews on it. I didn't see a whole lot in the group of the 244, but you never know. It might help the Master, it might not. As it sits right now, there was a high demand, according to Begode, for the P42s. It's why they made them, but I haven't had any feedback other than Merlin that has one. So that high demand, I don't know where those wheels are, but hopefully other people step in and report what they're getting. My S22 should be here soon. I'm super excited about that wheel. It's suspension travel, having the coil shock. I will obviously update you guys if it does have easily swappable shock as well, or tire, etc. But, you know, the Master's still a good wheel. It's just the P42 version seems to be this oddball in the pack that, you know, mine was Franken wheel, but it performs and just lacking in range right now. I will keep you guys all updated. If I sell it, I'll obviously let you guys know, but I'm going to keep testing it until then. I hope that you guys are enjoying the videos, enjoying the scenery, my updates and honest reviews. Please subscribe, comment your hearts out. You have a beautiful day, you beautiful people.